Party. So, the voices of Liberia, Capitol Hill, Moreover, Liberia. So, response to the hypocritical propaganda of the United Party on Christopher Walter Susulu Sifidi exposes Madam Corina Kra, divisive and arrogant rule. Response to endorsement of the April 14 March for Job and Justice, and strongly warns party militants, leaders, veterans, as well as adding law against openly challenging the party's position and expels a member of the Central Committee of the Vanguard Communication Party. Comrades and compeers, as the logical disciple of massacration, crusader of democratic centralism, soldiers of the Pan-African liberation struggle, gatekeeper of dialectical materialism, firebrand intellectuals, anti-imperialist militants, motorcyclists, taxi drivers, teachers, nurses, petty traders, trade and labor unionists, farmers, security guards, domestic servants, progressive journalists, democratic watchdogs, international observers, and our people and compatriots will bring you warm revolutionary greetings from the ever-potent Vanguard Unification Party. So, the Revolutionary Unification Party addresses Liberians at a decisive moment in our collective existence when contradictions have reached intolerable and unbearable heights. We are an ideological institution that carries 55 years of historical consciousness, rooted in popular confrontation with the state, civil disobedience, and intellectual engagement with the myriad of contradictions that permeate the society. Our planned April 14 March for Job and Justice is not a spontaneous reaction to discontent, but it is an engagement and agreement with the interminable contradiction of the Liberian society that remain unresolved by the Bwakakun regime. It is a non-violent, civil, and constitutional response to the multiplicity of crises in the Republic, including mass unemployment, multi-dimensional poverty, lack of basic services, and the reckless indifference of the criminal cartel of the Bwakakun regime. In Liberia, there is a noticeable paradox. One hand, thousands of Liberian graduates yearly from tertiary and vocational institutions. On the other hand, the government has proven inept to facilitate the expansion with a concomitant engagement in enlargement of the productive capacity of the society and economy. As a result, we have a generation of degree and certificate holders participating in meaningful economic life. This contradiction leads to economic frustration, survivalist mentors, crimes, and a growing disenchantment with state institutions. It is predicated upon these structural contradictions that the Vanguard Unification Party that we have decided to initiate our march for job and justice. Therefore, it is fitting to decisively respond to the baseless propaganda being peddled by the criminal gang of the Unity Party. The Unity Party is deliberately asserting all efforts to reduce our national struggle into a single emotionally charged incident by using Comrade Walter Susulu. We are cognizant of Susulu Toma. We empathize with his struggles, but we will never accept his situation to be weaponized by the Unity Party, whose only interest is to distract our struggle and distort the overwhelming scenario of April 14 March for job and justice.
You cannot limit the people on the far count to lock what else to do.
We will not allow the Unity Party institution, the Unity Party intentional attempt to divert attention from their shameless inability to provide job and justice for the Liberian people by weaponizing the Susulu brutalization.
Viva, 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 reminding them of discipline, viva.
Viva. It must be stated in categorical terms and blunt language that the Unity Party does not care about Susulu.
C'est quoi? Elle va nous prosecutor menace. C'est quoi?
2022, following the young brother's unfortunate ordeal, the United Party element amplified the situation, articulated continuously, and even draw the attention of the international media. They exploited Susulu's ugly past and deployed it as a sympathetic, primitive, and strategic campaign message, criticizing the former government of running a black fascist banana republic, and that in the wake of taking state power, they could provide justice.
The 3 years no justice.
They narrowly won the support of the Liberian people. After leveraging Susulu as their official campaign message. Today, after about 3 years in power, the satanic mafia of the disgusting United Party have forgotten Susulu. These barbaric parasites and ungrateful scumbags have refused to give Susulu justice even though they preside over the state. Even more important and vexing is the outreach refusal to modify the brother by providing him compensation in the form of meaningful economic empowerment or an international scholarship. In a grossly disgusting act of neglect, the United Party has effectively reduced Susulu to a political umbrella, wherein he is only useful when it is convenient and when it serves their strategic interests. This using in 2022 and dump him after taking power. Today, because we are creating a cataclysmic erosion and exposing their leadership inability, they want to find shade on Okomewato Susulu. Soup, as the master of propaganda, will dismantle their cheap charade and reduce it to rubble and ashes. The United Party is not sincere about justice, and therefore Soup will never allow them to narrow our comprehensive struggle into a single grievance. We absolutely reject this misdirected narrative meant to fragment our movement into history. If the United Party cares about Okomewato Susulu, let them dispense justice and stop their hypocritical posturing that is only intended to buy public sentiment, obscure our struggle, and demoralize our base. You cannot preside over all 3 branches of the government and be warning about justice after close to 3 years. This is a conspicuous example of blatant dishonesty and a mockery. But the Vanguard Unification Party remains steadfast and solid in ensuring that we demand accountability from the government April 14, March for Job and Justice. Fast forward, we must make this categorically clear that the United Party regime is equally a murderous regime. In Kinjor, Great Kemo County, the United Party government killed innocent Liberian and wounded several more with no justice. Today, they are targeting opposition and ensuring that those who are opposed to that agenda be imprisoned or be entangled by court ruling. They also killed a young Liberian named Joshua for simply exercising a right to political affiliation. We have also not forgotten that it was this same United Party that placed false charges on Vanny Jesse, imprisoning him until he got sick and never recovered.
This
daily institution has no moral to question anyone about injustice because it is a killing machine. In addition, the Revolutionary Vanguard Unification Party wholeheartedly, unapologetically informed the public that an institution that has been involved in championing the cause of the people will one day accept, embrace, and welcome the endorsement of the CCCOP, the District 17 Student Union, the Intellectual Maritime Brigade at UMU, the Union of Patriotic Students, the Student Unification Movement in Bon Country, the Student Unification Party at the Nima University, the Student Unification Party at Lofa, Grand Paso, as well as the We Are Out campaign, etc., and all those who are intending to endorse the March for Job and Justice April 14. We salute all forces for joining them. We salute all forces. We salute all forces for joining the chorus of youth and student organizations in endorsing our struggle for job and justice. Every Liberian, regardless of their origin or affiliation, is a direct victim of the reckless incompetence of the Bwakakun regime. And on that basis, the Vanguard Unification Party will align with absolutely anyone who bears the brunt of the Bwakakun wickedness. With contradiction multiplied in a certain group of citizens seize the country, all patriots must unite and crush that enemy that distributes poverty on the Liberian masses. We vehemently reject the bankrupt idea that the United Party is a tolerant and workable political institution. This party carries the characteristics of the Chewy Party. It is a nepotistic. It is nepotistic. It is vindictive. It is greedy. It is unlawful. It is murderer and it is criminal.
Gangster paradise.
A so-called economic solution is nothing more than the external credit facility of the IMF and the policy prescription of the World Bank. The United Party represents a discredited neo-colonial agenda. Under this party, Liberia remains dejected, unhappy, hopeless, and impoverished. While these economic vampires plunder the state and use propaganda to bamboozle the Liberian masses. Refuse to listen to the tasteless narrative that the United Party is a reform institution and an injury of life. This is an insidiously dangerous empire that masks a decade policy using beautiful language. Soup is fed up with their redundant rhetoric, and therefore we believe that in order for Liberia to experience holistic economic transformation in their lifetime, we must work with all forces to annihilate this economic leaks and then build a national progressive consensus. Furthermore, the Revolutionary Vanguard Unification Party wants to address the political interference of colonial crime and that inept, fornicatory, and misguided Minister of Youth and Sport who is abusing taxpayer money in the name of country talk to learn about problems faced by young people when those challenges already printed in documents and predominantly written on the faces of the Liberian people. They scatter bring and party gas, a brilliant sport bright, and glorify Beth to Ben Mayfield who saved over millions of dollars of the Liberian people's money is causing chaos and disuniting every youth and student institution.
That's what I say. After body.
In less than 3 months after being confirmed as minister, she has destabilized FLA, the motorcycle union, the Liberia National Student, all groupings. And in her desperate attempt to destabilize and silence all youth and student grouping, she has turned her attention to the Revolutionary Vanguard Unification Party. We are being informed reliably that she has given $10,000 United States to some party deviant in order to destroy our April 14 March for Job and Justice. We want to inform the Liberian people and the world that Corina Crime instructed some element of the MDRL Youth League to disrupt our rally for March for Job and Justice.
We are joining
This Vincent Madame is running partisan objective. Should in fact all 4 youth delegates to the 2026 ECOSA Youth Forum in New York and a certain members of the United Party. This seamless partisan operation at the Ministry of Youth and Sport is an affront to the essence of the Ministry of Youth and Sport as well as the young people of Liberia. Everywhere she goes, she carries a United Party agenda, and a United Party agenda follow her. And that is why everywhere she is present, she sow a seed of conflict. Cornelia Clark must be reminded that the Vanguard Unification Party has defeated individuals far bigger than her. We resisted Taylor, we resisted Manasali, we resisted Dog, we resisted Weir, and now we are confronting Mr. Bwaka. We are trained and relentless gorillas, and we are prepared for confrontation. We hereby inform the troublemaker that if she does not remove her filthy hand from the internal affairs of the Vanguard Education Party,
So,
we will end her ministerial career level date to a predecessor and all who follow.
Kiri Katinga!
Yo!
Katinga!
Yo!
Yo! Whatever comes up there, yo!
SUP is a revolutionary movement that is ever ready for any engagement, whether intellectual or radical. Fast forward, the Revolutionary Vanguard Education Party,
So,
a free and unambiguous, the Revolutionary Vanguard Education Party,
So,
issues a free and unambiguous warning to all party leaders, militants and veterans that the popular undermining of collectively adopted positions constitute a direct threat to the unity, credibility, and historical mission of the Vanguard Education Party.
So,
SUP is not a loose association of personal opinions. It is a disciplined ideological institution whose strength lies in the coherence of its voice and the clarity of its direction.
Yes, sir,
Boss!
Yes, sir,
Boss!
And the movement of national mobilization, when the eyes of the public are fixed upon our action, internal contradiction projected into the public sphere, weaken the moral and political force of our struggle. Those who occupy positions even within the party must understand that leadership is a responsibility of alignment. Once a position has been democratically deliberated and adopted through the structures of the Vanguard Education Party, it carries the weight of collective authority and must be defended as such. Decisions in the party are made on the basis of democratic centralism, which assert that all decisions once made are binding on every single militant ideologue, casual veteran. Any continued pattern of openly denigrating and challenging the Vanguard Education Party position in public spaces will be treated as a serious breach of party discipline and will attract appropriate consequences in line with our constitutional traditional precedent. The party is not attempting to suppress thought or internal debate. Rather, it is a necessary measure to preserve unity in the face of external pressure and political manipulation. There is a time and place for internal contestation, and there are established channels. There are established channels through which disagreement can be raised and resolved. However, the public arena is not the forum for factional divergence when the movement is engaged in national struggle. The Vanguard Education Party calls on its militants, cadres, and veterans to rise to the demands of this movement with maturity, discipline, and resolute commitment to our collective purpose, because history has consistently shown that revolutionary movements are preserved through iron-fisted discipline and steady support to all decisions. Consequently, SUP expels Central Committee member Mohamed Ketawe for acts contrary to the concept, precept, norm, tradition, and constitution of the Vanguard Education Party. This former comrade shall immediately hand over all party material in your possession, and we inform members of the public to do business with him, as doing so is at your own risk. He has been officially declared as a government boom. In conclusion, the party salutes the revolutionary gallantry of its committed militant cadres and stars and asks them to remain unbending as we march for job and justice. The Vanguard Education Party pursue the march for job and justice to its logical conclusion. We must remain united and resolute, reminding the reactionary and faith colonists that the Student Unification Party is a living historical monument of blood, sweat, and tears. Absolutely no party can silence the Vanguard Education Party. We remain repulsed, energetic, and decisive in our historical mission on the fight for social justice, academic freedom, and peace. Long live the Vanguard Education Party! Long live social justice, academic freedom, and peace! During the issue on the 12th day of April, AD 2026, by and through the mandate of the Telephone Politburo Central Committee of the Vanguard Education Party, signed from the Dave Howard Secretary General, approved from the audacious member chairman of the Vanguard.